next card of the day is the Seven of Diamonds. Gossip, slander, annoyances. It's contagious gossip, which is unstoppable. One person can cause a social media train wreck. It's incurable, and someone is most probably doing it right now.
Well, hello there. I thank you very much for joining me. I say cheers to the queers, a huck, huck, huck to a jolly good fuck, applause to the whores, and you know what?
Like sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives. This is MacDonald Carey, and these are the days of our lives.
Hi, I hope you're well. I'm well. Thank you very much for asking. And remember that this is an adult entertainment show and some things may not resonate with you. But right now, I just need to do a little catch up on the streets. And if you're not involved with the streets, well, then you should just hurry on along and we'll see you. Maybe we'll hear your song one day, but not today. So this is about Samael, and is he the one that is professed to be who we all thought was Jesus, who died on the cross? This is the big conundrum. But before that, I wanted to say I had a very bad day. It wasn't the best. I felt like having a baby. It felt as painful as having a baby. But so let us first get some things sorted out. Some public service announcement. Yes, I must put the mirror on the wrong way, the other way. Yes. So the public service announcement is that I'm still struggling, but it's not over for those comics and opposers that are out there. It ain't over yet, baby. Nothing's over till the fat lady sings. So welcome, my fireflies, my fanny fireflies, my real flies, my mosquitoes, my butterflies, my moths, my bees, and my hornets too. I hope you all are well. I'm well. Thank you very much for asking. This is what is still owed to me, and it hasn't disappeared. It's still there. It's still live. Verstehst du mich? Do you understand that? The fight is not over. For all those who thought I'd give up so easily on your bullshit. Hee hee, ha ha, hoo hoo. Who's in charge now? Okay, so let's get to the whole Samuel shit thing. And if you don't know who Samael is, well then, I understand that because I learnt this all through Team Rose. Yes, of all people. Her acolytes, her friends at the time, especially in Australia, were worshipping worshipping Samael. Yes. Now, who is Samael? Well, why are we talking about this? We're talking about this because of this.
How's everybody doing this morning? It's Tuesday, therefore it's no longer Monday. Therefore it's better today than it was yesterday. Ah, spirit fingers. Woo! What is this?
I love this woman.
YouTube made a new thing.
Please subscribe.
Woo!
I must get you a link.
Oh, this is gonna be fun. Okay. Alright, I'm done playing. Alright. Hey, Jamie. Definitely prayers, Miss Pat. Man, I have never been through that type of thing. An active tornado siren, I'm guessing you guys got. Hey, Pittsburgh nurse. And that sounds really scary. So, yeah. Morning, Vanessa. Morning, Nikki. Hey, Cable. Hey, Grey Wolf. Good to see you guys. I'm here to beat a dead horse this morning. No. I mean, I kind of am, but it's not just in regards to Seth's prayer. Hey, Helena, good to see you. Did I say that right? It's not just in regards to Seth's prayer. My entire I rebuke you to the internet is against people that gaslight you. And I feel really gaslit. Hey, Evelyn. Hey, Suze. Hey, Deborah. Good to see you guys. But I feel really gaslit lately. And that was the final straw for me with this whole prayer. I don't really... why am I even calling it a prayer? That was just not a prayer. And I really saw the extent of the gaslighting when I listened to The Lab, which I used to love Josh. Like, he used to be the voice of reason. When Jimmy had a heart attack, he was, trying to help and talk me through a couple of nights where I was just upset. Like, hey, are you okay? Do you need anything? That kind of thing. And I just, most of the time when I would watch The Lab, I'm like, okay, he wouldn't gaslight me, or he wouldn't lie, or he wouldn't straight up try and change something into what it's not. And he had Dr. Gary on, who is an expert, I believe, forensic pathology. I mean, he's definitely an expert in a lot of stuff, because he was also asked about the Archangel Samael. And I'm saying it like that because I'm actually really kind of creeped out by even saying the Archangel's name that was quoted in this prayer. But I guess one of the lovely chat members in his chat had recognized that Dr. Gary was an expert on this topic. And so, hey, can we ask Dr. Gary about, tell me, why are you... Lord, you need to stop changing your stuff and stop freaking running away from everything. I need to... Where's the add moderator? Good. Give me a second. Sorry, guys. Okay. And so he asked Dr. Gary what the Archangel Samael is. Or does he know anything about him? Thank you, OG Nanny. And Dr. Gary's like, oh, well, what was the context of it? And he said, he says the context as like, well, Seth, he had this speech at his kid's 1 year missing anniversary.
Isn't it amazing how I just found, I thought the kid's name was Seth. So if you don't know what's going on, there's this kid that's gone missing. He was like sort of what you would call today's age, like a kid like I was when I was young. I liked to dress in girls' dresses, and I was like a little bit of a girly type of guy. But I was under 6. I dressed in girls' nighties and stuff because I had older sisters. And maybe whatever happened to the kid, but the kid disappeared. And so now I find out, I'm sure, the father's name is Seth. What is so sick about that name? And that's what we all learned from David Icke. It's all in the name, baby. If your name is Victoria or Rhea, you could be linked to lots of murders, just like Queen Victoria. And so the name Seth, well, he's one of the sons of Samael.
And he was studying to become a priest. Okay, that makes sense then. He was studying to become a priest. But he says, you know, the basics. Like, there's some people out here that think that Seth was summoning a demon, and I'm thinking like, all right, Dr. Gary's getting ready to tell us. Yeah, the geese are back. Sorry, I'm a little bit congested. I have freaking allergies, and everybody at work keeps sneezing, and I'm like, I rebuke your germs. Anyways, good morning, bacteria lover. There is an orb flying in the back of your head and went out the window. Awesome. Wonderful. I rebuke that orb. I don't know. I might have to watch that. That's kind of cool, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, the response to Dr. Gary, well, first of all, he says, you know, some people think that Seth summoned a demon, and he, of course, didn't do that. And I'm thinking like, well, Josh, I heard him say the exact words, I summoned thee, and then, you know, the name of the person or archangel that doesn't, you know, represent a demon to him, but in fact, in all scripture text, that whatever he's referring to, which the mention of Samael is in Enoch, which is not a canonized, I didn't say that right. It's not a
canonized
book in the Bible. Thank you, OG Nanny. I love flowers. You guys are the best. And so to say that you're a Christian and then to say a prayer, like the one that you said, which I'm calling it a summoning ritual. It may simply be ignorance on Seth's behalf, which God bless him if he's that ignorant that he's going to summon a demon onto his case of his missing son. But I believe that's what happened. I know there's a lot of people out here that want to give the man the benefit of the doubt and no, that's not what happened. He's Catholic, Samael is Jewish text. I was so confused. Definitely not. He's not mentioned in the Old Testament. He's mentioned in Enoch, which is a book that's not technically part of the Bible, but that was in the Bible before they took it out of the Bible. I mean, it's really confusing. And every translation, like there's several different denominations and where there's an explanation of Samael given, and none of them are good. There's not a single explanation in any of the, like, it's even explained in Christianity, but it's always a negative entity that is the leader of the demons or the venom of God. Thank you, Helena. You're the best. Make sure you tell Helena thank you if you got a membership.
Jesus Christ is Lucifer. The church says that they're enemies, but what if Jesus, who calls himself the light of the world and morning star, is the same as Lucifer, whose name literally means light bringer and morning star? Let's see the evidence. The serpent that's often associated with Lucifer told Adam and Eve that they could become like God, while Jesus in the Gospel of John says, I have said you are gods. Want more? In the secret book of John that was banned by the church, Jesus reveals that he was the one in Eden who caused Adam and Eve to eat from the tree of knowledge. But wait, wouldn't that make Jesus the enemy of God? Well, the secret book of John reveals that Jesus is the son of a different God, the true God of light, and he opposes the God of the Bible, a deceiving being of darkness. So this makes both Jesus and Lucifer sons of light and enemies of the false God. So is Jesus really Lucifer? Both represent the same archetype, the illuminated liberator, urging us to realize that we're all pieces of the true God of light, the source, and their message, don't worship God, become God. What do you think? also banned from the Bible that sheds light on what's going on, and it's called the Apocalypse of Adam. The Apocalypse of Adam tells the story of the Garden of Eden from Adam and Eve's point of view, but most importantly for us, it describes the flood. In this banned book, Adam reveals that humans were not actually created by God, but that all of humanity are actually divine, eternal beings, and that God is actually an evil entity that imprisoned their souls in bodies on earth to be his slaves and wiped their memories, because if they realized they were divine, they would be able to escape. In the Bible, it says that God destroys the earth with a flood because the people had become wicked and sinful. But the Apocalypse of Adam says that's not the case at all. It was because humanity was becoming too intelligent. They were starting to realize what they were, and they were refusing to worship God, the one who imprisoned them on earth. Would a loving God accept human sacrifice? The fact is that human sacrifice is found throughout the Bible, and it reveals a truth that the church has tried to erase from history by any means necessary, that God isn't what he seems, that he's another being entirely. Stick with me until the end as we uncover one of the darkest stories in the Bible and the truth about God that's been hidden in plain sight.
So I can't play too much of this guy all the way through, but we will dissect this. You see, Samael is who is truly worshipped by the Luciferians, because the Luciferians believe in following the light. Now, I have a question. As a student, as I learn along my path, do the followers of the One believe the One is Samael? The followers of the Kabbalah, is this the secret path that should be followed, and thus and therefore that Christians to be persecuted? This is my question.
Let's begin. But first, make sure you like and subscribe, as I'll be releasing more hidden knowledge on my channel that you won't find anywhere else. And if you ever felt like you've learned something from my work, support on Patreon to get access to members-only videos every single week. You can also support by hitting the join button right below this video. Our first story takes us to the tale of Jephthah's daughter. See, in the Bible, specifically in the book of Judges, Jephthah was a military leader, and he made a vow to God. What was that vow? Well, he promised that if God allowed him to defeat his enemies, he would offer as a burnt sacrifice the thing that came out of his house to greet him when he got home. So Jephthah probably thought that some kind of animal would run up to him. But what actually ended up happening? His own virgin daughter greeted him. In fact, she came out dancing to meet him because she was so excited to see him. Now think about this. What would a loving God do? See, a loving God would never let Jephthah sacrifice his own daughter. That would be crazy.
And let me add to that, talking of a loving God, of course, the loving God started off saving the Israelites in the desert by the Sinai. Well, before that, of course, he caused all of the firstborn deaths in Egypt and all the 12 curses on Egypt for Pharaoh to let the Israelites go. Yes, we all know the story very well. And God opened up the canal of the Red Sea, and so the Israelites could pass through, and once the Israelites were through, and the Egyptians and the Pharaoh came through, God closed the waters on the Egyptians and killed them all. This is the God of love. And then so the Israelites traipsed through the Sinai desert for 40 years in quite a zigzag fashion. And there weren't really any people there because there was no water. Where there's no water, there's no people. It's a simple fact. But what there were snakes. And these snakes, these vipers, seemed to be killing all the Israelites. And this seemed to be a problem, so they went to their leader, supposedly Moses, but at the time, I think it's Gideon, but this is the book of Moses, and because they said that Moses died looking towards Jerusalem, but you have to understand that is waxing lyrical today. We've seen enough movies. We understand how these things go. We understand how they write scripts for us to think about things. And that's what this is all about. Now, my question is the other script, because I do have the Book of Solomon and the magic. I do have it. That's not Samael. That's the other demons. Samael is the one. And the one is always seen to be as Odin, as for the Nordics, which became Santa Claus. And as the Christians would call it, Lucifer or Satan. Not Lucifer. Lucifer was his name in heaven. Lucifer was the angel of light. He's no longer the angel of light. This is our problem is, and that's why there is government involved with our lives right now, is through Luciferianism, through a God that believes we should not rule ourselves, living in this 3D world. A God that has power and has been given authority over the air that we breathe. It is written. He's been given authority over the air that we breathe, but not authority over you and me. None of these demons have authority over us. Beelzebub, the one, Samael, those who they call God, those who they call whatever they want to call, there is no authority over a human being. For it is written, unless, unless, there is a but. But, Lionel, what is the but? Your but, my but, we all but. What is the but? But if you give in, then that is death. And that means so many things. If you give in this 3D, this reality, then it is over. But what if there is another D, another dimension, where you can choose to go. And that's what Jesus and John the Baptist is famous for baptism. It's the whole point of it. It's not about becoming a Christian, it's becoming baptized. It is a philosophy that has been taught for over 2,000 years, more. 4,000 years. 6,000 years, 12,000 years, from the pharaohs that were before the pharaohs, 24,000 years. Can I ask you a question? Let's turn this off. Can I ask you a question? You have a dog. Isn't it great when you get a friend on Facebook, on Instagram, on whatever social, and they get a new puppy, and it's everything to them. It's like they've never seen this creation ever before in their life. It never existed. Because why? Because they have ownership over it. They actually, this is theirs, it's their. Far for me to say, but I'm sure there's a lot when you give birth. And many mothers have experienced it on their first birth, and when they take the child from the surgeon, from the midwife, once they feel their child in their hands, everything changes, because they understand the glory of nature, never mind giving birth of life, but of how things work. Who knew? And through the biggest struggles that a plant or a flower or a tree can go through, that's when they bloom. This is called nature. Now, religion has stolen these facts from us and calling our reproduction evil, disgusting, unholy. You get diseases. And then you get children who grow up from parents who think their children are diseases. And then they find out that in actual fact, Jesus is Lucifer.
Absolutely vile. But what would an evil being do? Well, accept the sacrifice, of course. In fact, accepting a burnt virgin sacrifice is the absolute epitome of satanic. So the question is, did God accept Jephthah's daughter as a burnt virgin sacrifice? Before we get to that, we need to look at another story in the Bible that also involves human sacrifice, the story of Abraham and Isaac. See, in this story, God tests Abraham's faith by asking him to sacrifice.
And this story is pivotal on how I was raised as a Christian boy. It is prophecy in the Old Testament. It's prophecy because Isaiah took his son, and then he heard God. God spoke to him. God said, you got to go and sacrifice your son. So he went, and as he was about to chop the head off of his son, God said, no, stop now. Now I believe you. Now I believe you love me. And because that man, a human being, could do that, then God decided, okay, well then I can do it with Jesus. I can turn my back on Jesus and have his head chopped off or crucified, whatever. This is the whole pivotal point of Christianity. That they put the Old Testament, which in actual fact is a replica or a fake replica of the Germans, of the Jews. Hello, I don't know who you are.
Hey, how's it going?
How you doing, mate?
That's a morgue official. Do you listen to him a lot?
Just recently, the last 6 months, I've found him.
I think your computer's echoing.
I'm going to put my earphones on. Give me a second.
All right. Hello.
Sorry, you were in the private chat, sorry.
Yeah. Morgue official, I kind of like his content.
Oh, wow.
What do you think of it?
Morgue official. So, is this who I'm watching? Is that Morgue official? Yes, a Morgue official. I've learned so much from him. And that's why I'm using him as an example of where my questions are coming from.
So, where are you convinced that he just said?
No, this is okay. I am in a community in the United States where we're watching this kid that got disappeared. And it's been a year today. And the father of the kid went into the ceremony at the church and basically invoked some IL. On the pulpit. So this is where my video and my live will go out to. But this is, I'm not mocking this creator at all.
Well, he studies esoteric things, and he makes videos about esoteric knowledge. Do we know that the esoteric knowledge is true? Specifically about what you're referring to, I don't know what invoking Samael, which is a demon of some sort, I'm sure. What would that look like? Like, what would that do?
Okay. Let me show you what I typed. No, this is what my belief is you're going to be judged by your own beliefs. And so I'm trying to educate the people that do watch me sometimes that let's take that off. I question them. Who do they think has the greater power? If somebody goes into a church and if you think they're invoking a demon, who do you think is more powerful? The demon they're invoking or the God you worship? That's my question. And maybe they need to take a step back.
Well, my first question...
Look, this guy that's supposedly invoked Samael
but I have a question for you.
Is the father of the person that disappeared.
I don't know what an angel or a demon is.
Oh.
I've never seen one. Have you? I've never seen one. So you say that you've seen one? You've seen angels and demons, and you've seen Samael.
Okay, let
Have
me
you?
ask you this.
Because
Well,
that's
I
what
haven't
we're talking about.
seen many things. I haven't seen many things, but they are out there.
I
And if
haven't
I haven't
seen
seen them, does that mean that you can't see them or they don't exist?
Well, it doesn't mean they necessarily don't exist. It just means that only you could see them, which doesn't do me any good, and they're powerless
So
when it
what
comes to
you're
me.
actually saying is because you haven't seen anything, then it doesn't mean anything.
Well, I mean, okay, so magic is real, mind control is real.
Okay, explain that. How have you seen magic appear?
Yeah, there's magic like color psychology is magic. When you wear the color red, people find you more attractive. So that'd be like a charm spell. It's magic is a combination of psychology and something else. Not really sure. Just things that you can't, intangible things such as memory, beauty, uh, like intangible, love, emotional vibrations, intangible things. That's magic because magic creates
So
something that's not there.
do you disagree with miracles?
um, I don't even know what a miracle is. Like, what would be a miracle? Something that's normal, or like if I cut myself and it magically healed, like if it healed instantly, that would be a miracle.
But wouldn't that be magic?
Well, yes. Yeah. Like we said, like magic is real. Magic is how
That's
we.
my point. That's my
Yeah.
point. Miracles are magic, magic are miracles.
But to the best of my knowledge, I've never seen an angel or a demon. No one ever has. An,
Okay,
you
so
know.
maybe my idea of an angel or magic or demons, okay, the actual meaning is spirit, energy. So if you walk into a restaurant or a church filled with people, you feel an energy,
Yes.
and there is a spirit, there is an angel. That's what it is. There's power with that.
I kind of agree. Like if you have a bunch of people around in a certain area, it can make an area have a negative or a positive vibe to the field. Is that what you're saying?
So yeah, so okay, let's push a little bit more left your field with magic. I've come across miniature magicians who have tried their magic spells trying to push me away. I'm sure you would know that practitioners would stand on the street corner and practice that energy too.
Well, I know that there's red magic and blue magic. And the red magic is the Republicans. And the blue magic is the
I love it. Yes,
yes.
yes,
So you
yes.
have these people, like they're just a group of people and they
Very
wear
true.
red. And that's the real magic right there because the government is not actually real.
Yes, we make it up.
Yes.
We choose. We choose. That's my argument right from the beginning. Is we create this magic, we create this energy, we choose. And that's whether it's Samael or the One or Satan or God, whatever you want to call your power, it's the power lies in your hands
They
or
coded
my
it.
hands.
The reason the Bible
we have the power, and that's why the government wants to control us, because we have the power.
Yes. However, the people that, well, okay, we don't have as much power as they do. And the reason we don't is because there is power, there is medicinal benefits to eating human flesh and drinking human blood, especially like baby blood and stuff. And because that is scientifically proven to reverse aging. So, are we necessarily as good as them? No. They have superior medicine. They just do. So, physically, they're better. Mentally, they have better schools because they actually teach the truth. And they don't sugarcoat.
No, sir. No, sir. I'm going to add a no there, because maybe that's your perception because you're an American, obviously. Other countries have other legalities, and of course America pushes the greatest legalities with their great big pharma and pharmaceuticals. The actual Latin word, the derivative of pharmaceuticals, means magic. And you know that you get placebos, people get placebos, and then they work. It's magic. Now, there is called, like you were talking about drinking baby's blood and human's blood. Wait, no, let me finish. I've got another minute left.
I have to correct you about the magic thing.
We've got the ability to take stem cells from fetuses to heal any cancer or any HIV or any Parkinson's or Alzheimer's. You just need an infusion of baby's enzymes.
You cannot heal HIV. So here's the bad part. You can't heal HIV or AIDS because it doesn't exist.
Ah, I love you.
And that's why I was trying to correct you. That's why I'm trying to correct you. Whenever you say the pharmaceuticals practice magic, they do. The magic that they practice is they pay people to make up like test groups of people, and they call them HIV or AIDS, but that's a hoax. It's not real. That's the magic.
I believe
the magic is paying institutions to conduct research that they can control.
Yep.
The government, that is.
It was like the vaccine that we had with the coronavirus. Exactly. It never even worked. The coronavirus gave the virus to everyone.
Well, no.
I mean, the
vaccine. There's no such thing.
The vaccine made people more sick.
The virus was not real. Viruses are not real. There's no such thing as a virus. That's the magic.
Yeah.
They have people believing. They use media and they use religious groups in order to control people. Your local church, all the churches are control centers. That's all they are. And these places, Walmart's owned by the government, McDonald's are owned by the government.
Yeah.
You know, basically, most of the major outlets, like the big ones, are owned. The rest of the industries compete with them.
Yeah.
There's
no argument. You're quite right. And, we'll get the economists out and they'll be arguing. But the truth of the matter is, even the richest guy is owned. That's why Elon Musk is in the White House because he hates to be owned.
Right. But you are owned. Everybody is. There's 800 or 900 there's 800 or 900 families that own everything in the entire world. We live under a global economy. It's not a local or by country. It's just, these people can buy countries. They buy and trade countries and governments. And it's like a house. You go, you buy a fixer-upper government type. Government that's maybe a little bit ravish but has some good bones to it. Maybe where some gold mines and some coal mines, just different stuff on the land that you buy. And there just happens to be people on it. Well, what do you do with the people? Well, they can live there, but they have to pay a tax to you, the person who owns the land. So this is where we got into the situation. Can anybody truly own land? The answer is obviously not. You cannot own land.
Never. You can't. They don't want you to.
You can only own what you create.
Yes. Yes. True.
The knowledge that I try to pass down to people is the knowledge that the government is, you are a slave. And if you don't want to be a slave, you don't have to be. You can join me, people like me, and we can fight this the right way, from the inside out. That's the only way to fight it. Life is a projector. Everything is mental. We can win, of course. Nothing's impossible. But the problem that I run into, I have a lot of people that, a lot of YouTube creators serve the government because they get a small amount of money. So they paymaster their way into control.
No, that's right. You're quite right. Very right. I wish people knew more, but how did you, you're not born with this information. Where did you get this information?
Mark Passio, have you ever heard of him? Jordan Maxwell, David Icke. Alex Jones a little bit. Alex Jones is more like a speculator. He's like, this is what could happen.
Yeah. He's the real extreme right wing of Fox. But sometimes you can think he's still working for a boss. I don't know. He's working for money. He's working for his family. He's working for his future. That's what we are trained to do. We got to work for our future and our family. And so long as we just stick in the lane, he's still trying to stay in the lane at the end of the day. That's what I believe. He's not. Elon Musk, I saw his interview with Joe Rogan, and the harsher Elon Musk goes, the more his head is on a chopping block. He knows it. He knows that he's doing this for them to kill him, basically. If you think about it, this is kings of countries and empires and emperors whose heads are on the block. Do you think Elon Musk is going to survive?
Yeah, well, I believe that what we're dealing with here is not what we see on TV. I think it's called method acting. I don't think that because, you can control people because you say that you have knowledge that they don't have, so they follow you because you know something that they don't. But another way you could teach people how to follow is just by sowing fear and by method acting. If you're pretending to be
method acting,
yeah.
So would you categorize Otto Morn on Facebook for an actor as method acting?
I'm pretty sure everybody in government's a method actor.
All of us are.
No, not
We
all.
all pretend to be this person who we want to be, but we're really not that person.
Well, not all
On
of us.
social media.
Like me, like I really am real, and people don't like that. I constantly get banned. Like Mark Passio, he's real, and the reason what makes us real is because we don't tell because we are libertarian for one. Government is completely evil. There's no need for it at all. It's slavery. That's the definition of it.
There's no need for government. None of us need any government. For what purpose? For what purpose?
Well,
it's ridiculous.
But I will say this: the magical spells cast so deep that I don't know what to do. The red wave of magic has just been. What do you do whenever the government's giving you $13,000? Like I've already received $13,000 from the government.
No.
It's $14,000.
No.
So.
Wow. Yeah, we are suffering. Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. Do you not want to suffer?
No.
Well, okay, so
luckily my education is suffering is a lesson in life.
No. Well, not financially.
No.
So what I'm trying to explain to you is the only thing that I did was I had a kid. So you might hear him in the background, but he's in another room. But
yeah, I do. It's fine. That's cool.
He's a little boy,
everybody's
right?
Got
so
kids.
I had him last year, and last year. So what happened was the government just starts giving us a bunch of money on our taxes and paying us to go to school now that we're parents. So in America, if you have a kid, I don't know about anywhere else, but in America, if you have a kid, the government starts paying you thousands of dollars. Like, I get like almost $800 in food stamps, like $3,000 on a Pell Grant, and I can do that 3 times a year. And what I'm saying is that the government is raking in. The reason that the government can maintain its control is because they're giving parents money. So the people without parents in the country are getting robbed with no beneficial return. But the only reason that they can't do anything about it is because the people with parents have a foothold on their neck, and they're keeping who they want in power. The Republicans, Donald Trump now, the whole thing is Republican, every branch of government. So now we have a Republican stranglehold on society. Why? Because it's J.D. Vance, $5,000 child tax credit per child. If people got 3 kids, that's $15,000. That's how he did it. It's no secret to why people voted for him.
Wow.
15, like imagine $5,000 per child. If you had 6 kids, that's $30,000.
Wow.
You're not going to vote against yourself. And another thing too, those religious centers. Think about it. It all goes in a package, man. The churches have free daycare. So you have a bunch of kids. Daddy goes working for construction. Guess what? If daddy wants to be a mechanic or a plumber, guess who licenses him? The state does. So the state pays for him to go to school, and then, he has to pay for his license, but, the state pays him to go to school with Pell Grant. He becomes an electrician, and then he goes, and even if he does a bad job, he writes it up $30,000 electrical work, even if he does a shitty job, as long as it passes inspection. If that homeowner says, "Oh, I ain't paying your prices," he can go to a judge the very next day, put a lien on somebody's house, take them to court, and the judge will forcibly sell their home and pay that man the $30,000, and then they'll keep the rest. The court will. And that's what you can legally do. So that is how the economy is made. The only reason the economy, construction goes round and round is because of violence. Because the cops
That's sickening. And
fear. It's just That's what they do. Like, this is how the real economy works. This is how it really is. This is not like this. So, how did Donald Trump make his money? He was given $1 million. So, and then he hired a bunch of construction workers to build him a bunch of real estate, hotels and motels that he could charge thousands of dollars for a night. Then he filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, which means none of those construction workers got paid. He screwed them all over. He's not a smart businessman. He ain't shit. He's not a goddamn thing. That he made it by the courts. That's it. He started with $1 million, screwed over construction workers, and got up to $1 billion. I mean, what is impressive about that? I don't understand. Everyone's like, he's so smart businessman. What's impressive about that? Starting off with $1 million.
But no, not $1 million. No, he started off from his daddy and his granddaddy.
He was given $1 million.
But there's the question. There's my question just after what you've explained then, or statement in a question. Does that not make him a true politician?
No, it just means.
Yes, it does.
No, it means he had.
It makes him a true politician. He is American political royalty. And I know you guys hate that.
His family already had money. And
look, baby, you're going the wrong way, because I can defend him, but I made a pact with myself and my fellow Africans, because the Africans do not like him because they don't understand my what do we call it, conspiracy way of thinking. But through my conspiratorial investigations, I've also found people like you who show me a more balanced view on things, and so they can be this truth of things that are not in my foundation, and so it's difficult to understand because it's not in my foundation. But I have an open mind to understand things.
All right, so I'm working on a lot of things. I'm working on a book, right, that I can put together to help people. Basically, what we're doing here is, I was born to extreme poverty, homelessness, and I've been in prison. So I've seen the worst of society. Well, not the worst, not the, like the super worst, but the worst in America. So you're building yourself up from the ground. The first thing you need in order to become a millionaire, to get $1 million. Now, if you want to become a billionaire like Donald Trump, you got to first have that $1 million investment. You need $50,000, and you have to invest all at one time into nothing but gold. And then you have to wait 10 years at least, maybe 15 or 20, but at least 10, let's say 10 years down the road. You should be able to sell that gold for $1 million. The only thing the economy is driven on is gold. That's it. It's a human obsession with gold. Now,
yes.
Now, okay, so that's what the luxury economy is driven by, is gold. And I have theories about that, but they're just theories. The other economy is driven by child care. Average cost of child care right now is $16 an hour in America. That's how much it takes. Okay, and all daycares are funded by the government, by the way. So you have every daycare in America funded by the government. The government has to pay people $16 an hour in order for them to get off their ass to take care of children in America, and even that's not enough. So our wages start at $16 an hour. That's about average wages in America, around that. Up and down, but
I thought the law was 21 or 22.
No, law is 725.
Oh, sorry. Oh, really? Okay.
But the
725, and the average
economy,
is 16.
not
Wow.
only
It's
my
very
economy,
good.
this is all the economies. This is not just my economy. This is how economies work, period. The
That's what I
government has
thought,
to pay people. They
Doc.
have to take care of their children, regardless. The government's job, they must take care of the children because they have to give money to parents. And then those parents take the money, go to daycare so they can go to work at their construction jobs. And we keep it going around. Now, so that's what we're dealing with here. So this is the upper economy in America. And then there's a lower economy. Then there's economies in Middle East and Europe and Asia where there's just people that don't like that make the materials for the factories in America. Slave labor, essentially. Like they have no protective gear, nothing. They're given nothing.
Yeah.
Not a living wage, just paid by the unit, and you can see some of this
A
stuff
bowl
on
of
here.
rice. Yeah.
So you have the lower economy that makes the material, and then the American economy, which basically just tries to invent new
Manufactures and
cars.
sells.
It's like, hey, do you want a new car?
Merchandise. Yes.
I mean, cars that only rich people can afford. I mean, the economy's just for the rich people. I mean, I figured that out a while ago. I'm like, who the hell's buying all these cars and shit? Oh, rich people. They're the ones that get to enjoy the economy. But the first thing you need in life is $50,000. So how can we get that $50,000? Children. You got to have them children.
You got to have children. Amen.
I don't know. I mean, and see, the thing about it is, gay people and lesbians, they don't have children. So.
And straight people.
Well,
I've got
what
straight family that don't have children. They're not going to have children.
Well, the Republican economy, this is the way it's set up. They don't give a shit about gays or anybody. That's why the Democrats are like, we know how the Republican economy is set up, so we're going to cater to the gays and the lesbians and anybody besides the straights. And the Republicans are like, well, we're going to cater to the people with children, the straight people with children. And so the Democrats cater to the others, and the Republicans.
I'm going to butt in. I'm going to butt in now. Hang on, brother. Because I have a personal gripe for today, especially. I was pushed around from fucking border post to border post, from bank to home affairs to police station. And then the police constable said, "Oh, this is real bad for you. I'm very sorry." I said, "Yes, I know." And what my problem was, and I am a white guy in Africa, so if you're a black, I will actually even let the black person behind me go in front of me, just to cause a scene, because I'm over 2 meters tall. I'm already causing a scene. I want to prove a point, and I don't have a 9-to-5 job. So other people have other things to do. I'm a gentleman, and sometimes it really, I get into shit for doing it. It really fucks me around. But I keep on doing this. I don't know why. Maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. I'm the one that loses in the end, and I've learned that. But I'm standing in the queue, and I'm in the queue. There's the sign. And even though there are gay people out there, there's the sign that says discriminated groups, LGBTQI, females offended, just like bullshit. I don't know if you're left or right or whatever. People think I'm right. And that doesn't mean that I'm right, just right wing. I am gay. And because I am a healthy, strapping, strong male, and white, I will be the gentleman and let you go first because you are more suffering than me. Maybe that's a privileged attitude to have.
Okay,
But
so like
now,
you.
what my point is here, I want you to understand that J.D. Vance and Trump, in my opinion, are not anti-gay.
Well, no, not anti-gay, but pro-parent. So, okay, so
which I believe is a good
here's
thing.
The difference
because parents make gay people. Ha 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 ha.
Now, if the two gay people can become a foster parent, and the state will pay them as well per child. The state will pay.
Did you see that thing with the two gay men, and then they went all gay in their YouTube channel, and it turns out in the end, how do people make a YouTube channel and you are actually trafficking your adopted children to other people? I cannot comprehend this.
It probably all.
And then what's worse, my good friend, is I am judged according to those gay men. I've got friends from a long time, and I just say a young man is attractive, and then all of a sudden the pendulum swings back, and you're a fucking pedo. You know what I'm saying? And it's like,
well, okay.
How do you defend yourself? You can't defend yourself. You just got to say, okay, yeah, I'm the pedo.
You're with your
it's like,
partner.
What am I going to say?
But here's the difference between us. If you live, well, basically the world too. You can foster, but they only give you $700 a month to foster. That's it.
Oh, it's less. Good. I'm glad.
That's what I'm saying. Like, okay, 2 men, 2 women, foster or transgender, just whatever.
And they get money.
Polyamorous.
And then they get money. No, that's
not much money.
They shouldn't be allowed to get money for it.
But
no, that's bullshit.
Because, well, okay. What I mean is,
for medicine,
go to the foster system.
Okay, it's fostering. Fostering.
Yeah.
Yes, I know.
Fostering is just holding the kid until they get adopted.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is, it's like you can get some money, but the difference is that straight parents will get, like, if you have a biological kid, or you know what? I honestly don't know if a foster kid counts. Okay, so you have 2 gay people, you have 2 men, 2 women, and then
do you think they get money?
Do they? I wonder if they get it. I actually don't know.
I can't think they can be fostering parents unless they have a fostering home. I don't know. I've heard of people who are really, really good trying parents, and they go through hell to get that adoption, and then they get their child, and I don't understand it, because just having your own children is like going through hell. Why do people want to fucking go through hell? We do it to save other children, not to think you want to have a pretend fucking family. That makes me sick.
Well,
but then I was raised in a pretend fucking family.
You were adopted?
No. Well, yes. Actually, I changed my name at the age of 6.
Huh.
I was raised in a pretend fucking family. But they never got money, although they were privileged because they were white during apartheid. So maybe they did get subsidy. I wasn't fostered. No, it was my real mother.
Well, it doesn't. Well, okay. Let me. So, if you have a kid in America, JD. Okay, they just raised it. It used to be $3,600. JD Vance raised it to $5,000. So it's not like
crazy.
It existed. It used to be $3,600, and then now he's took office. Now it's $5,000 per child once a year during tax season.
Now explain this. The one comment is, The money is for the child.
Yeah. Well, the money is just, well,
How does the child spend the
no, well,
money?
they don't know. They don't know.
Explain how the child spends the money, my friend.
The
If the money
money
is for
is
the
just,
child.
the money's because
The
you
the
put it in house,
guardian
you
is
voted
somebody who's over 21 and who takes the money and makes the child a Cinderella complexed child. In it? A slave.
all I know is that, okay, so the government steals my money. Every time I go to the store and buy anything, groceries, I get taxed. And I ask, why is the price, why do I get taxed? And they say, oh, okay, it's for the government to keep the roads going and stuff like this. I never benefited. They just keep robbing me. I go to the store, I have to pay the government. I go get a piece of property, I have to pay the government. Anything I had to pay the government for, inspection fees, that's $500, to renovate your house. They rob me. And then I try to go to school, they only want to give me $400. And then I have a kid. And instead of robbing me, they start giving me tens of thousands of dollars. They give me $19,000 a year now. So they robbed me for 30 years of my life, and now I'm 31. And now instead of robbing me, they still rob me, I still have to pay taxes, but now they give me food stamps every month, and they give me, $20,000 in cash. So that's where, like, whenever I was being robbed when I didn't have a kid, that's why everybody gets robbed. Everybody gets robbed. Only parents get their money back, some of it. And then if you make too much, it doesn't matter if you're a parent or not, you're not going to get the money back. You're just going to get robbed. So the lower class and the upper class, well, the lower class without kids get robbed, and every upper class person gets robbed, creating what we call the middle class. And that's what I'm a part of now. I live off the government. I don't have a salary. My wife works. And I can't find a job that pays me more than the federal government pays me. So I'm in a position now to where I don't know. Unless I come up with an award-winning idea to start some kind of small business, I'll be middle class for the rest of my life, I guess. But what about you?
So I need to move to America and start making babies.
That's all that's needed. I mean, that's all that's needed. And I hope
Wow.
anybody out there, like, I was wondering how my parents made it because they were hillbilly folk. And then their parents, I'm like, how the fuck do they make it? Turns out this whole time, the goddamn government's just been, I mean, think about it. Here I am for 30 years of my life struggling, never get a tax return. I file my taxes and they say, oh, you owe a couple $100. I'm like, goddamn. And then all of a sudden, oh, here's your $6,000. And then a few weeks later, here's your $4,000. A few months later, here's you another $4,000. Yeah, the social worker checks on the child. Yep. Yeah, they sent them to us to inspect our home. Fed, proper clothing, adequate housing. Yeah, we have a pretty big house. It's about 3,000 square foot.
I knew a guy and his new wife, and they had about seven must have been 2-year-olds because they were walking
Yeah.
2, 3 to 4-year-olds. They were walking, and the two of them were white, and all the children were all the colors of the rainbow, and they were all happy. And I think that's how they made their living. They lived a very good life with their 7 children. And so long as they keep on getting their children, they're fostering the children, waiting for homes, they get paid by the government and they have a very good middle class life. I need to
Right.
find a wife.
But if they
I need to find a
ever
wife.
if they ever rise above, and if they ever find a way to make themselves more money, they will not get any assistance from the government. So,
But this was the problem, because this was the gym I used to go to, and all of a sudden the owner of the gym sold the gym to this new guy. And then I started seeing this obviously the ways of the gym changed, and I'm a guy that will go lunchtime, mid morning or afternoon. I don't like it when it's busy, and of course then you see the wife arrive with all the children, and I really wondered if he bought this gym off the back of that income and paid it off, and now he's a multimillionaire today. I don't know where the kids are. Obviously they're grown up. It's 20 years ago, and he actually did make it happen for himself. He, with the children that he fostered, he made it happen. And look, I'm online here. If I knew the answer, I wouldn't be online here, I suppose. I'm only looking for the answer. But
well,
maybe we have to stop looking and start acting.
but if you think about, if you just have children yourself, it doesn't matter if you foster or have children yourself. If I had 7 kids, the government would give me $35,000. Now, you and I both know, so there's no way to make that kind of money. I mean, you're just sitting around working your job. And then just one day you're going to get 35 grand. There's how are you going to make that kind of money? There's no way. The government has more power than any other entity on the face of the planet. They can make you comfortable overnight. Here's you some money. And then you're just comfortable. And they don't bother you. Like I said, they came one time to my house. They don't bother you. They don't ask questions. They don't need to ask questions. If they want to monitor you, they will. And it's kind of crazy because the economy is not real. Like people like you, for example, childless. You are expected to.
I was
Well,
screaming there. Nothing is real. Nothing is real.
not when they're just
It's
giving
only
us
how
money.
we perceive it, and the government and the systems make sure that we perceive it as they want us to perceive it within parameters. So long as we perceive it in those parameters, our hands are tied behind our back.
But yes, but the people like me that can fight the government, we don't want to fight. I don't want to fight the government because they give me money now. Like I used to be a servant. I used to have to work at shit
But
jobs.
that's
Like
why they're giving you money. That's why they're giving you money, because then you can't fight the government because you are in the system.
no,
And it's
I
like
am the government
they
now.
say again.
I'm what you call. Let's see, what we call it. So there's. Uh, my wife is a white collar worker, which is above a small business owner because I'm a small business owner. Technically, I'm not really, but like I'm a rapper and I do hustle like odd jobs and stuff. I don't really have like a official small
Excellent,
business,
excellent. Good to
but
know. Good to know. Thank you for introducing yourself. Thank you.
so I'm a small, like kind of like that. But my wife's a white collar worker, which is employed by rich people. But there is a class called the landed gentries, which is well born and well bred people with a net worth of 3 million. So imagine you were born in a real estate with worth $3 million or more. That's a class all to itself. It's called a landed gentry. You're someone who doesn't have to work for your money. You're just born. I mean, you might pick up some jobs for some extra cash. But once you take over the family, whatever the family's doing, then. See, nobody actually needs money. They need gold because they can live off the gold. And that's what the landed gentries do, usually real estate and gold. So what we're dealing with here, what would you be considered? Are you a blue-collar worker? You're on mute. You're on mute. Nobody can hear you.
Thank you. Sorry, forgive me. I'm glad you didn't hear my stuttering there. I have this conundrum right now because the fact of the matter is I'm not the gentry. But as far as my dream life is concerned and thought is maybe I'm part of the gentry. But the fact, the honest truth is I'm not part of the gentry. I'm a very poor man. I act like I am part of the gentry.
So
maybe.
I
have some privileges as if I were part of the gentry, but I'm not part of no gentry.
I have a unique perspective because I come from homelessness. And now I'm up to this like middle class, so I've kind of like come up. So the victimhood classes, I wrote down the social hierarchy. And America has it all figured. I don't know what the UK does, but homeless people, this is the start of the victimhood, the bottom of the pyramid. The people with mental health issues, lack of opportunities, and like employers that won't hire them. Now, the safety networks that America has is charities. So you have charities in the UK maybe for homeless. These charities, though, are funded by religions, which are nonprofit organizations that don't have to pay taxes. So who's this money to benefit the homeless people really coming from? It's being filtered from the government into religions, into charities for the homeless. And then the homeless people, even the homeless people, if they get some money, they even have to pay taxes. So they once again the government even robs homeless people like that. They don't take any mercy. It doesn't. They don't care. The next class, maybe, are you
No, let me interrupt you there. You keep your thought there, because I just want to get back to this one thing while you're there. Keep this thought in mind. Could we claim taxes for miscarriages? Okay, keep that in mind. That's a question, just for now. Now, getting back to what you were saying, I actually passed the place today, going to Home Affairs to get my fingerprints. And I was actually happy to see, because that went through my mind. It's like, well, I could always go there. It's called the Ark, A-R-K. Funnily enough, it's called the Ark. And if there's no one out there for you, there is a place for me to go. If I ever needed to go somewhere, I could go to a place like the Ark. But the people that I give my leftover change to will not go there, if you know what I mean. That's how it goes. Maybe we call them drunks and hobos, I don't know. But
Well,
I do
okay.
still think I'm part of that
Do you have
gentry.
people? Do you have people that draw a check for mental disability, homeless people in your country? Because we have a
Oh
lot of
yeah,
that here.
yes, yeah. But
So,
your skin has to be black.
well, I mean, you would have more easier time if you had a mental, not a physical. Uh, so yeah, you have
So
a bunch of
I
homeless
need to
people.
go. I need to go into the street, take all my clothes off,
Yes,
wipe my face with tar, and
yes,
act like a madman, and then they will give me money. But
yes, and it has
but
to be
but
observed by
but
the police.
they will, yes, but they will only give me money that will last me seriously in a poor area for a week, 2 weeks, 2 weeks
Oh yes.
maximum.
Well, I
There's
know my
no, but
grandmother, right?
there is money, and so because there is money, there's millions, multi-millions of people getting grants from the government. But it's also like Doge in the government in America. It is corrupted. Never mind by the civilians. The civilians have corrupted it, which I don't hold against them because we have to do what we have to do to survive. But there's less money available because the officials steal first. They take their first share.
Well, the government kind. Well, okay, so they steal from everybody because they're the ones who put. Remember, you have to have a business license. The businesses that don't have a license, the police will come in there and destroy it,
Ah,
literally.
yes, we're just experiencing that now as
So
well.
for
Yes,
you,
you're quite
if
right.
you're homeless, right? Are
Mm.
you would be unskilled laborer or a
No,
service
I'm
worker?
not homeless. I'm unskilled laborer. Yeah, let's put that
What
there.
unskilled laborers are construction workers, cleaners, trash collectors, and factory workers. So you would say that fits.
What would a barman be? What would a barman be? Is that middle
What's
class?
that? A bartender?
A bartender.
That's a barman. That would be a service worker. Well,
It's a service worker. Okay.
the problem with
So
service workers,
that's still the same.
yes, you're still in the same class as homeless, and I'll tell you why. Because you're in the victimhood. You have to get yourself out of the victim class because these service worker jobs are unstable. Now, you might be able to get like a trash collecting job, like you might work two or three jobs, and that's common. But you're right now in the victimhood class, and the only
Yeah.
help the government's going to give you is a tax return of about $2,000 and unemployment benefits if you lose your job. Because, and why do you think there is unemployment benefits? Because the government knows that the service jobs that you're part of, like if your bar doesn't sell enough liquor one month, they could go out of business unless it's a massive franchise. If it's like a local pub, so they say unemployment benefits, and that's up to 2 years of a check, small 40% of your wage. And you right now
It's
you're in
still a
the
lot of money if you look. We have a much lower. Um, we have a very good lifestyle, but a lower price of living here, and especially with the exchange rate between that $1 buys me 19 rand,
oh,
and I can buy much more with my 19 rand than with your dollar in my country, or compared to what you can buy with your $1 in your country. It's a strange thing. And look, like you've experienced inflation for the very first time, they've all explained inflation to Americans.
Oh yeah, well, not the first time, but to this severe degree, yeah.
Oh, my country, because we went from the change from in democracy in 1999, we had the joy of the spiritual good feeling, but the financial, economical noose around the head of inflation. And what inflation attracted was your interest rate on your loan. So if you borrowed $10, then if you dependent on what you owned, you would be categorized into how much interest rate you should pay back on the inflation. So if I bought a vehicle, a car, if it was 20,000 Rand, I would have to pay, or $20,000, I would have to pay $35,000 for 15% interest rate. Or is it 30? This is where I grew up with this in my life. And then I moved to Dublin Island, Northern Hemisphere, and we had extra pay, and it hung on for a couple of months, and they didn't pay me out. And I looked like a fool saying to them, but you're earning interest on my money. And they had no idea what I was talking about, because there was no such thing as inflation or even interest in savings in the Northern Hemisphere. It was 1.1% if you saved money 20 years ago. What's the interest rate if you save money in America now? Do you know? Or if you borrow money, if you make a loan, what is the interest rate that you have to pay back at?
It's less. It has to be the state. It has to be less than 30%.
Okay. Yes, we have this. I think we have the same rule.
So
yes.
But
yes.
what you're saying that you're a service worker?
Yes.
So
I am.
Okay. In order to come to the economy class, you'll need to you need to become well educated. You need to have career opportunity. Like, is there a rich corporation that you can work for?
No, because of my skin color. It's against the law. It's truly against the law in my country and my age category. I cannot go and sweep the streets. I have to go and work for a slave owner. That's the truth.
What about, are there any driver jobs, such as like a truck driver or?
Yes, and I would, that is my only outlet. There, you hit bingo, bingo, well done. Bingo,
no, it's not
driver.
Okay, there's also.
That is definitely a big outlet.
Well, you could also become a repairman. Like if you had a special skill, like if you became an electrician, you could charge people a good rate. Or assembler.
Do you? Wow, you just gave me a spark in my head. Wow.
A builder.
Well, thank you.
Any kind of blue collar work.
Yeah.
Drivers, and that would take you to what's called the economy class. And if you can go to either that, or you'll have to save up money and then try to open a small business, which is a gamble. But if you can become a blue collar worker, that would be your ticket to the economy class. Or if you can find a rich corporation to work for that pays well. But usually, you'll probably, like the blue collar worker, to me, seems like the best bet. And then,
you see, our economy is very hugely driven by the dream, and I actually followed the dream 20 years ago of retail. You open up a shop and I opened up a shop 20 years ago. And it went well, but due to many factors, I closed it to save my financial ass so that I didn't have to pay another 20 years. But today, now, because I took the easy route, I'm paying for it. I'm paying big, brother. I'm paying big.
Shit, I know it. Like, yeah.
How
man.
old are you? How old are you?
I'll be 32 in April.
God bless you, my son.
Well, hold on, I'll be right back.
Max Smith, how you doing? How you doing, Max Smith? This is the second time you came round. Thank you very much for coming round. And __ is in the house, and Mary Jane Doe is here too. Max Smith, Mary Jane Doe is in the house. Who did I miss? That's my favorite, Ricardo Sunshine. How you doing? What you cooking? Good looking, Ricardo. Everybody else wants to just okay, that's fine. We're talking. So let's go back to this. If government changes to consider parenthood begins at conception, could we claim miscarriages on our taxes? That's a good question, Dot. And I'm sure that is aimed for not a true answer. And it's quite, what would you call it, leading into a position of, what would you call it? The word is unconsensual. That's an unconsensual question, I think. That's a good answer to that question. It's unconsensual. Who's Aaron Woodard experience on X? Hello. In my state, upper middle class starts at 115 grand. Upper middle class. Do you know, when I was at school as a supposedly middle class, privileged white lad, when I was actually the poorest child in the school, who was thrown out. I was expelled from the school because my daddy didn't have 115 grand. But funny, he had that 115 grand for my younger brother. Well, it was his real son, and that's why I said I was from a fake family. That's how it is. Max Smith is watching an unfolding of the coming depression, as they say, Max Smith. And Max Smith, I thought you were the Max Smith from Minnesota, but it seems like you the Max Smith from Melbourne, more likely. Dot says, I didn't realize I need to consent to ask a question. No, you need having the miscarriage is unconsensual, if you know what I mean. Viper, on the other hand, says 250,000 K is a median, not medium. Medium and median are two different things. Median means average, okay? It's just a fancy word. Price for living in a very expensive town in California. 250K. Okay, so that would be 6 million rand. Each state is different. That would be a huge amount of some much poorer states. Yeah. And funny how all those houses for 250k just got burnt down to the ground, singed like matches in the wind. Got you. I think this was a great show. I think we did a great show. Nobody wants to come up on panel. Do you want to talk about Samael? Should we do a little bit of a recap of what I went through tonight? I'm going to take my earphones off. So, yeah, so there's no one online with me, and so there's no echo, and then I don't sound so muffled to myself. This is what we started on, and this is why we were talking about Samael. If you follow the crimes and Krama community, then you would have known about this kid that went missing. I started watching the crimes and Krama community when Summer Wells went missing in in 2021. Eh? Yeah, 2021. Yeah, 2021. And in June 16 or something like that. And now there's this other kid. He disappeared today. It's a year ago in America. And I was saying, well, maybe this is definitely a child sacrifice, because the daddy, the pappy went and did a ritual in the church. And the preacher and everyone else said, no, you didn't hear what you listened to. That wasn't a ritual summoning the angel of death. No. But we got onto the conversation of house prices. Isn't the price of a house? No, it's not, Dot. It's not. Are you just the opposer? Hey, that is the English term for the Hebrew word called Satan. Satan opposes. That's not what I was talking about. Exactly. Viper agrees with me. Stupid woman.
Oh, this is gonna be fun. Okay. Alright, I'm not playing. Alright. Hey, Jamie. Definitely prayers, Miss Pat. Man, I have never been through that type of thing. An active tornado siren, I'm guessing you guys got. Hey, Pittsburgh nurse. And kind of am, but it's not just in regards to Cesspare. Hey, Helena, good to see you.
And like I said in the beginning, it's quite amusing how Seth, in the book of Enoch, was the third child of Adam, supposedly, and Seth became Set. In Egyptology, Set is the sun sets, Ra, sets, evening child, moon child, but I always thought the child's name was Seth. But it's not. The father's name is Seth.
Did I say that right? It's not just in regards to Seth's prayer. My entire I rebuke you to the internet is against people that gaslight you. And And I feel really gaslit. Hey, Evelyn. Hey, Suze. Hey, Deborah. Good to see you guys. But I feel really gaslit lately. And that was the final straw for me with this whole prayer. I don't really, why am I even calling it a prayer? That was just not a prayer. And I really saw the extent of the gaslighting when I listened to The Lab, which I used to love Josh. Like, he used to be the voice of reason. When Jimmy had a heart attack, he was, trying to help and talk me through a couple nights where I was just upset. Like, hey, are you okay? Do you need anything? That kind of thing. And I just, most of the time when I would watch The Lab, I'm like, okay, he wouldn't gaslight me, or he wouldn't lie, or he wouldn't straight up try and change something into what it's not.
Okay, Viper, good question. Is 250k, if 250k is middle class in America, then most people would be considered very poor, because most people, never mind make 250k a year, can even buy it, because you need more than 250k a year to buy a house for 250k. But that was the stupid question, because Dot has never bought a house in her life. And she thought we were talking about the prices of houses. And I wasn't talking about the prices of houses. I was only talking about all the houses burnt in California. Because Viper said 250,000k is a median price for a living expense in expensive town in California. It's living expenses. When you own a house for 600k, Dot, but you've never had a salary or applied for a mortgage, have you? All you've done is inherited things, Dot. Okay, you got that? Got you. Great. Thanks. Let's carry on.
And he had Dr. Gary on, who is an expert, I believe, forensic pathology. I mean, he's definitely an expert in a lot of stuff, because he was also asked about the Archangel Samael. And I'm saying it like that because I'm actually really kind of creeped out by even saying the Archangel's name that was quoted in this prayer. But I guess one of the lovely chat members in his chat had recognized that Dr. Gary was an expert on this topic. And so, hey, can we ask Dr. Gary about, Debbie, why are you... Lord, you need to stop changing your stuff and stop freaking running away from everything. I need to... Where's the add moderator? Good. Give me a second. Sorry, guys. Okay. And so he asked Dr. Gary what the Archangel Samael is, or does he know anything about him? Thank you, OG Nanny. And Dr. Gary's like,
Dot, you're welcome here, but I know that you're just argumentative. So, whatever. Be the argumentative bitch that you are. Swish, swish, bitch. You got anything else to say? Because you can only say it here. I'm waiting for the comments. I'm listening to you.
Oh, well, what was the context of it? And he said, he says the context as, like, well, Seth, he had this speech at his kid's 1 year missing anniversary, and he was studying to become a priest. Okay, that makes sense then. He was studying to become a priest. But he says, the basics, like, there's some people out here that think that Seth was summoning a demon, and I'm thinking, like, all right, Dr. Gary's getting ready to tell us. Yeah, the geese are back. Sorry, I'm a little bit congested. I have freaking allergies, and everybody at work keeps sneezing, and I'm like, I rebuke your germs. Anyways, good morning, bacteria lover. There is an orb flying in the back of your head and went out the window. Awesome. Wonderful. I rebuke that orb. I don't know. I might have to watch that. That's kind of cool, huh? So anyways, the response to Dr. Gary, well, first of all, he says, you know, some people think that Seth summoned a demon, and he, of course, didn't do that. And I'm thinking, like, well, Josh, I heard him say the exact words, I summoned thee, and then, you know, the name of the person or archangel that doesn't, you know, represent a demon to him, but in fact, in all scripture text, that whatever he's referring to, which the mention of Samael is in Enoch, which is not a canonized. I didn't say that right. It's not a Christian book in the Bible. Thank you, OG Nanny. I love flowers. You guys are the best. And so to say that you're a Christian and then to say a prayer, like the one that you said, which I'm calling it a summoning ritual. It may simply be ignorance on Seth's behalf, which God bless him if he's that ignorant that he's going to summon a demon onto his case of his missing son. But I believe that's what happened. I know there's a lot of people out here that want to give the man the benefit of the doubt, and no, that's not what happened. He's Catholic, Samael is Jewish text. I was so confused. Definitely not. He's not mentioned in the Old Testament. He's mentioned in Enoch, which is a book that's not technically part of the Bible, but that was in the Bible before they took it out of the Bible. I mean, it's really confusing. And every translation, like there's several different denominations and where there's an explanation of Samael given, and none of them are good. There's not a single explanation in any of the, like, it's even explained in Christianity, but it's always a negative entity that is the leader of the demons or the venom of God. Thank you, Helena. You're the best. Make sure you tell Helena thank you if you got a membership. So, hey, Grandmammy Annie. I think ChatGPT put that speech together for him, and he was ignorant to look up what it meant. I mean, I don't doubt that.
Blame it on ChatGPT. Please, man.
As being Josh, somebody that people look up to, that people trust. Thank you, Cable. Thank you so much. PJ, have a great day at work. Gotta scoot. Have a good day. So basically, let's just say he's ignorant. My issue with that is that you are dealing with powerful entities that you've just evoked and summoned onto the property of the church, and then you're saying we summon you. Like, who is we? Because I'm not we. And so then we got Josh sitting there saying, well, he didn't mean it that way, and he's not, you know, he's not. And I'm thinking to myself, like, but that's what he did. I mean, let's not call it a spade if it's a spade, right? But, and the reason that I was mentioning that as the first example is because that's just the latest example. But I feel like we're getting gaslit by so many different people on the platform that I'm not tolerant of it. Okay, so like for me, if I feel like you lie straight up to my face, and see, Josh is naive, I don't buy it. I think that Josh knows exactly, because he literally danced around instead of, okay, what I would have done if I was Josh. Hey, Dr. Gary, let me play the prayer for you. How easy would it have been for Josh to go and play him just a small clip of the prayer? He's not naive. He's not naive at all. He danced around it purposefully, because had he just played the prayer for the man would have straight up said, hey, look, it really sounds like he summoned a demon, because that's literally what, I mean, I'm sorry. It's just like, And that's what I mean. People just will come up with an excuse like, oh, he didn't mean to. Oh, he's just too naive to know better. Or, oh, he meant to do this. He meant to summon so-and-so instead. At what point do we hold people accountable for their actions? Like, I'm about to turn into a lol cow. You know, when them people, like, start just raging out, like, bouncing up and down their seat and just clapping, like, because they're so freaking agitated. There's orbs everywhere. It's dust. See that? I seen one right over here somewhere. See, look, they're all over the place. What in the world? But
shame.
Right. It's not a prayer. That's why Josh called it a speech. And then he said it's a speech, and then he said with a prayer or whatnot. But at first he said a speech, and I'm like, that's telling. You're calling it a speech. So you're aware that it's not. I just can't. But there's people that are this way also. Like, all right, Brittany J. I'm not picking on Brittany J. I'm sure she'll bring this up and, you know, utilize it for her cry streams when she gets money. Which, whatever, you do you, boo. But she dozes off. Like, she just nods off sometimes. They're watching or listening to a clip, and you see her avatar start moving along with the snoring sounds that's coming out of it. And then she's like, that was my kid! You guys, how dare you shame me for my kid snoring in the background? No, ma'am. And, like, her entire chat will completely just stop being mean to Brittany. Leave Brittany alone! I don't tolerate that. I just don't tolerate that. I don't. Because I'm like, if you think that I'm that stupid to where I can't comprehend.
So what she's explaining is she knows what she believes. But the question is, how can we as educated people or not educated, grown-ups, only believe what we know to be true. It's only what we've been told that what is, and we believe it.
And somebody nodding out in the middle of a stream, then we've got issues more than just the disagreement. It's like, do you believe your own lies? Like, because some people are so adamant into their lies and so invested, they start believing the stuff that they say. Like, to her, she don't think she's fallen asleep. She thinks her kid was sleeping next to her. You know what I mean? And it's like, at that point, you've got some type of mental issue that I can't handle. I'm not equipped for that. I'm not your psychiatrist. Like, let me see. I saw a good comment. My dad is the pastor. I gave him a transcript of that prayer. He told me that Samuel is considered a counterpart of Satan. He told me, do not play that part of the video in my house again. Amen. Amen. I mean, it's just like, it felt evil. And even though I don't feel that, you know what? I think Seth knew exactly what he was doing. I don't think he's that stupid. I don't think he's naive either. I do think that he's been taken over by the grief. And I do feel that he is aware of what has possibly happened.
Do we change the subject?
Is it true you used to go out looking for glory holes? Explain.
Can we talk about me killing a guy?
I thought you killed a guy.
How do you hunt a glory hole? You don't hunt a glory hole.
That's my question.
That snake hole, snake hole.
Like what did that hunt?
I didn't know. I don't know about hunt. I didn't know about these places, but there's places that are like. I mean, it's you pay to get admission to get in, and it's just a maze. It's mazes, upstairs, downstairs, of booths, like you go into any booth, and all of a sudden there's holes in the wall
The
everywhere.
picture of the girl there?
No, it's a surprise. Who knows?
It's never.
Who knows if it's a human?
guy.
It's
you don't even
never
know what
a
it is.
fucking surprise. It's a dude. They don't let girls in there, and girls don't want to go in there because it's fucking nasty.
Well, there are some that have girls. It's definitely not all dudes. There's because you see videos of it.
Are we talking?
Oh, you mean a video of it? I'm just saying, is there a place where you can go and there's like 100 people in there and you put your dick in the hole and it gets sucked off and there's girls there?
When you say girls there, do you mean the ones doing the sucking or the ones there hanging out? Like what? What are you asking me?
Yeah, sucking.
I always thought that there was, man. Have I been lording the dick? It's like, damn, well, it looks like I have gotten my dick sucked by a guy. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But damn, bro. So I always thought glory holes were the most, and this isn't being judgmental.
How would you know, huh?
How did I know what? Oh yeah, well you just go, I mean, there's tons of people walking around, but then there's doors, you open the door, you go in, and there's like there'll be a hole right there, and a hole right there. And
how do you choose?
It's like Sophie's choice.
It's up to whatever you want. The whole thing is supposed to be like
kind of fun, like
choose your own adventure story. I mean, sometimes they'll be like, because they put a little hand in the hole, like they tap their finger, which means put your dick in there.
Yeah, see what happens.
Or there's a dick sitting out there like, hey, who wants to suck it? So it's either that or the other.
Oh, sometimes there will be a dick coming through it.
Yeah.
Oh, so there's people
exciting.
on. Oh, so basically this is just like it's a men's only party putting dicks in holes and sucking.
That's fire.
Wow.
And it's huge. And it's packed.
Where the fuck was this? What country?
There's one right now.
You're about to say a place in LA, aren't you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Is it Trader
On
Joe's?
Santa Monica.